the brown van would pull up, the double doors would open, and out amongst the billowing smoke, cigarette smoke. These characters, I'm going to try to remember, Mike Mercadante was one of them. I think it was Tom Pratt, and a DCI legend, Bobby Hoffman. And it was never the same. And it changed not just North Bend's history, it changed cavalcade history, and it was far-reaching. It changed the marching band scene and what was expected. And back then, there was another guy in the scene. And this other guy in the scene is still on the scene, hasn't left the scene. I'm telling him, get out of the scene. He loves the scene. The longest tenured marching night staff member from the fall of 1980. Ladies and gentlemen, to the podium, I invite Eric Kitchenman.
Yes, glasses. The leader of the band. It is an extraordinary honor to be here today and share with you my personal thoughts about this great man, my hero, our hero. Look around, all the people. All the people who've gathered here today, consider how Steve impacted your life. May have been directly or indirectly. Consider how that impact has rippled out from all the people here, from all the people he has touched. Family, friends, co-workers, acquaintances, and so on. I would dare say the man's influence will be felt for generations and generations. When was the first time you met Steve Frederick? Or Fred? Or Maestro? In an office, a band show, your first rehearsal perhaps, maybe just down the hallways, when your sister or your brother who were in the marching nights introduced him to you when you were but a child. Now think about that interaction. Think about that impact. At that very moment of impact, life changed for many of us in this auditorium. I personally met Steve in the spring of 1979 when Kate Schaefer and Roy Schmidt introduced him to me in his band office, that famous little office behind that wall. He impacted me. When the opportunity came to be a visual technician for the fall band of 1980, I took it without a flinch because of the impact and knew this man was special. My life changed. In fact, my life in many ways and aspects has been but a poor attempt to imitate this remarkable man. I'm going to share 4 thoughts, 4 connecting ideas about Steve. First, leadership. We often use a phrase in our leadership program for the marching nights. It's ubiquitous in the leadership circles. It's called simply this: lead by example. For Steve, this is how he lived. Through his vision and confidence, and with the forming and cooperation of the North Penn Music Aids, Steve transformed the marching band here at North Penn. It took courage to crash the norm and propose a completely different approach to the marching band program. This young, energetic band director took his program step by step, year after year, to new heights. It always started with him, his work ethic. The hours of planning and then implementation for his classes, his marching band, his efforts in school, his community band, certainly took a great deal of extra time and only could have been achieved through the support and loving devotion of his wife family. It has been said that behind every great man, there's a great woman. And Dot, I can say, through knowing you and Steve these 34 years, that's a fact. Leadership by example, through service to his community, to all of us here. Be it these halls at North Penn High School, as an educator and administrator, or with the Montgomery County Concert Band, or other semi-retirement efforts in the youth education and the arts, he brought service. That was his leadership style, which so many of us benefited. Second, a man of uncompromising passion for music. Let me restate those words. Uncompromising passion for music. This was also very evident in his directorship as the North Penn Marching Knights, and various wind ensembles, concert bands, various musicals in this auditorium. Tuba Christmas, respected adjudicator on the national scene for marching bands, drum and bugle corps, and co-founder of his beloved Montgomery County Concert Band. Uncompromising passion for music. His passion caught you when you met him and could even take your breath away. And then there is the deep, disciplined, and thundering velvet hand to which he gently sculpted young people. These were tools he planted into his marching knights, a perseverance to obtain high standards. There have been championships acquired to such a level that it will likely never be matched by another band in the Mid-Atlantic State area. As my good friend Gary Kuzikria so eloquently wrote, his standards carried forth so faithfully. His standards are our standards, faithfully by Ted Heller, Brian Clayton, Mike Richard, and with the support of numerous staff, many of previous years who I've connected with today. His standards are passed on. His standards are the cornerstone for the continued success of the Marching Knights program. Third, Steve had a seemingly bottomless well of compassion. Compassion is inherent in human quality, but it thrives. It must come from a place, and it was his powerful heart, which many, many, many of us are fully aware. That was Steve. It could be as simple as the depth of interest he would have in somebody as they walked by in the halls, or asking how your family was doing, or being present when someone was suffering, or even when, in those cases where there was deep loss, Steve was there. Or showing his interest in your personal success. He was there, a pat on the back, a shake of a hand. Or even things as if going to someone's house whose apartment has just burned down and went in and helped clean it up. Or, because we all have stories. The list can go on, and too numerous to mention. Nothing was too small or too big. That was his way. The way of genuine compassion and interest in his fellow human beings. Unmitigated kindness to the receiver of such kindness who was an answer to prayers. For Steve, it was his way. And finally, love. He was a source of much love. A lyric from a popular song goes, "The way you invest your love, you invest your life." Love first and foremost for his remarkable wife and beautiful daughters.